feel like if you have the time to yourself, you can do whatever you want to do. That's when the wealth really shows itself.
What happened that year that made you say, hey, this is going to be the change that I'm making?
I'm making money. I have no reason to be crowded in the house. It was just like one of those eye-opening moments where like I can do this on my own. My family's gonna have to figure it out. You reach certain tiers and levels in life, you can't let everybody in.
You know, did you have the tinge of your siblings looked after you?
Just kind of being an example, they all followed it. Everybody has good careers.
Wow. Nursing, judge, tattoo artist, FBI. Hey guys, we realize a lot of you are coming to the page and enjoying the content, but we see a lot of you still aren't subscribed. And so if you could click that subscribe button, it'll help our channel grow and give you more episodes with a lot of amazing individuals. Welcome back to part 2. Listen, Jazz has been telling us a crazy version of her story because, trust me, she looks like nothing that she's been through. And listen, we are going to continue her journey. Now she's on the investment side of the world where she's starting to change her life from what it was to who she's becoming. And so you are now dealing with this side of the world, which is investments.
Yes.
And dealing with all that kind of stuff. You're still around like 22 years old or whatnot. And so being in this kind of field, because already naturally it's male driven, how does that make you feel outside of your mentor?
I mean, it comes naturally. It really does. I feel like one of the guys a lot of times and not. So because of that trait, it's been easy to maneuver as a woman in a male-dominated industry. So I have a ball with it. I mean, I was a little tomboy growing up as well. I don't know if that helps, but I'm able to navigate easy.
Okay. And so now with you, because I'm sure it's a different type of bag that you get now, going from flea market to
Absolutely
this, you
Absolutely.
know, what changes in your life as far as like expectations?
For myself?
For yourself, for others around you, because you do change. When you get subjected to a different mindset, a different lifestyle, money, all of that stuff, you start to also look at the things, you know, whether we want to or not,
right,
that the people around you kind of get into.
Absolutely. So I always grew up like embracing everybody, but you can't do that. When you reach certain tiers and levels in life, you can't let everybody in. There has to be some boundaries. There has to be some standards, of course. So now, because I'm scaling, I'm more careful and selective as to, number one, who I choose as a client, who I choose as friends, who I choose to hang around me, because that also affects, you know, where we are financially. It just affects everything. So I'm carefully examining people that come around now. Before I let them come into my life. I need to know that. How are you thinking? Are you positive? Are you always nagging and complaining and what's the word? Gossiping about people? I don't like that energy. It's so draining.
Facts.
And it's a complete turn off for me. Like if you get around me and all you talking about is the next individual and the same topic every time we come around, my attention span goes from like here to like instant off.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
As it should. You know, I feel like the people who gossip about other people in those kind of ways are just, they either want what they have or they don't know how to get what they got. You know, and so it becomes this dynamic of envious, jealousy, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And in the day and age of reality TV, you know, because we deal with some reality TV people, they can't turn it off. You know, and it becomes a version of them. And in psychology, they also do say, and it's, you know, Elizabeth Loftus, if you guys want to look her up, she was in the 90s and she did tests where she would bring people in and she would bring a bunch of different people in that never had any type of traumas. Like literally they had decent lives growing up, whatever, nothing subjective or whatnot. And she would implant, you know, of course, signature-wise, you know, they got the permission to do it, thoughts into their head that something bad had happened to them or that they lived through poverty or that they dealt with, you know, different situations, you know, sibling-wise, parent-wise, growing up, financial, whatever. And after sessions, they would now start to believe it and then hook them up to like a polygraph type of thing. And they would say, yeah, this happened to me. And it would actually strike as true.
All right, what's going on, y'all? It's Jasmine Glover. If you want to build wealth the right way and make sure that it lasts, join me every Thursday at my Built to Last masterclass at 8 p.m. I'll drop the link in the bio, and I'll see you on the other side of wealth.
When in reality, before they even started the program, we know it's not true. Right. And so this is a dangerous concept. And, you know, Daniel Simons, and Christopher Chambers. I'm dropping some good psychology business names to you guys. Daniel Simons, Christopher Chambers in The Invisible Gorilla book. And it's a blue book called Now You Can't See Me or something like that. I don't know. But there's a Trojan horse on the front of the book. And what it goes to is like why people are able to trick you when it comes to business. The psychology behind business pitches or business sales. Why we buy the things we do or why we tap into the things we do. And this same principle that she created a long time ago plays into the factor of the mindset of how sales are made or provisions are made or whatnot. And so, again, rabbit hole. Good books, good people to know, and go down that rabbit hole on your own. But my bad. To segue back into it is, you know, you being able to affect the people around you and yourself. You know, at what age did you leave your grandma's house?
I was 22.
Okay, so 22. That same year.
22 years old. I just couldn't take it anymore, and my grandma, it was too much. So I'm like, I'm out. So I packed up my son, my mom, my siblings, and we all moved in
you took everybody.
Oh, everybody came with me.
Okay. I for some reason I thought you were just leaving by yourself, but I
left. So after we left, then it was at 25 when I finally left my family. I felt super guilty for doing it, but you know, grown people gotta be accountable for themselves.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So it was me and my son. We moved totally from the family, just me and him.
And so why 25? What happened that year that made you say, hey, this is going to be the change that I'm making?
I was just ready for a change. And then the fact that when we left that home, we went back to my great grandmother's house, and it was like, okay, I'm making money. I have no reason to be crowded in the house. Make the move, make the jump. And so it was just like one of those eye-opening moments where like I can do this on my own. My family's gonna have to figure it out. I think they were a little salty about it.
I was just about to say, do you think they felt some type of way about it?
Oh, absolutely. They didn't express it, but I know that they did, because it was just, it's always been us. It's always been our little hub, our little family dynamic, and it was just, to me, it was on. I just felt like my mom was able-bodied, so.
Yeah, your siblings too.
My siblings. I mean, you had the younger ones, but that's my mom's result. I can't go throughout life feeling guilty for something that was not my fault, right? So I'm like, okay, Jazz, you got to take your son and your baby. You got to go. So
you see, and that message right there, I know at least 2 or 3 people in my life right now that probably won't watch this podcast, unfortunately, but they needed to hear that, you know? Yeah. And sometimes understanding that from somebody else's perspective is a thing, because, you know, people oftentimes keep themselves in situations that they feel obligated to correct or fix or maintain when it wasn't your situation at all.
Right.
And then they wonder why life isn't in the version of life that they want it to be.
Right.
And when we say sacrifices for certain things, these are some of the sacrifices. And it's not just a financial sacrifice, but what are you willing to do to get to where you're trying to go?
Absolutely.
And so now with you being the oldest and you getting into this kind of stuff, you know, did you have the tinge of your siblings looked after you? Like they tried to follow the same things that you do?
My sister.
The one who was 12 months apart.
Yeah. And then my other baby sister, she's now in New York. She's an attorney now.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they've all done. So my sister that's 12 months behind me, she's in nursing school, and she works this girl is a workaholic, more so than I am. But she moved and did her own, she moved out and then she got her own spot. My sister, she's the one that's an attorney. She's always been like in the books growing up from a kid. She was just very different. So when she graduated from high school, she was out. She moved to Gainesville, did her bachelor's, went to law school, and moved straight to New York away from everybody and just said, I'm going to be an attorney, and she's an attorney now. Hopefully going to be a judge soon. Wow. So, yeah. My brother, he's a tattoo artist. The one that was after the 3 girls. And then the baby girl, she's going to school to be some FBI person. I said, you going to work for the feds? You going to work for the feds?
But everybody got good careers.
Everybody has good careers.
Wow. That's fine.
And the baby boy, he's going to school for engineering. So it's like everybody has, it was dark, but it was, I guess, prayer and love in our little thing. The sacrifices of me, I guess, and my other sister, the one that's 12 months after me, helping out and just kind of being an example. They all followed it. So
that is fire.
Yeah,
I've never heard such a all-star lineup. Just nursing, judge, tattoo artist, FBI. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got all types of stuff going on over there. Okay.
We really do.
That's dope. How do you get to do you feel like, and this is a subjective question because I feel like, other people have had different answers. I have my own answers, but I feel like the era of grandparents are different from our era now, especially when it comes to family gathering kind of things. Because Thanksgiving, all these kind of stuff. My grandma was the one who really used to facilitate this, and everybody come out and be together and yada yada yada. But now it's more it's just a thing,
right? Right. It's
And so, do you guys get chances to see each other?
Oh, we do. Yeah. So we were just together for the holidays. We try to at least get together. Valentine's. My mom does a Valentine's Day tea. Okay. Which is really cute. She does
And so everybody comes out here.
Everybody comes here in Miami Gardens. My mom says in Miami Gardens. And she does her little Valentine's Day tea. Thanksgiving, we all go down to grandma's house and we all bring a dish now. Because at one point it was me cooking everything and everybody just kind of bringing their favorite dish that they're good at. Yeah. But now, no, we doing potluck. It's too many of us. I'm not slaving over, and I'm too busy, number one. And so even Christmas, we did Christmas holiday photos where everybody came down. So we do have our at least 1, 2, 3 times out of the year where we get together.
What kind of food y'all cooking?
I mean, we cooking oxtails, we cooking mac and cheese, we cooking rice, not rice and peas, but rice. We cooking red velvet cake, collard greens with the neck bones, turkey wings, sweet potato pie homemade.
When's Thanksgiving again? November?
November. Yeah, we cooking real food.
If I don't get invite around November,
I got you.
I'm gonna feel some type of way.
You know what's up. I got
heard
you.
it here first. Yeah, clip that. I got you. Clip that. I got you. Because I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just send you that one. I got you. That's all I'm gonna send you.
Say less. I got you.
I need it.
It is different though. Our generation, the grandmas now, they living their best life, so it is kind of scary what's going to happen in the future, right? But we try to keep that tradition.
So how do you feel about you went over your story and how you grew up, and you can see how it can kind of mold you into the person that you are right now. Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about the quote or statement, strong people create good times create weak people create hard times, and hard times create strong people.
Goes back to the cycle, right? Mm-hmm. Man, I believe that. So my hard times created a strong individual, and I have to be careful not to spoil my son. Mm-hmm. This is true, because it's you don't want your child to grow up lacking anything, or you don't want him to grow up hurting. You don't want it, but the truth of the matter, the reality is I can't protect him from life. Life is naturally happening to everybody. Yeah. Everybody's going to lose something. Everybody's going to go through something, go through a deep hurt, a deep pain, depression, whether it's seasonal or long term. You're going to go through it, right? It's part of the life cycle. So I believe strongly in that. So, and because I believe strongly in that, I have to be mindful of not to give him everything or to not make life super easy for him.
And so what are some methods you use to guide that?
So what I do is I try to hold him accountable. I try to, if he asks me for certain things, I have it, but I have to show him the value of okay, whether working hard or just giving it out to you. Mm-hmm. So even with the whole investment side, so I mean, I can give him and buy him what I want to buy him. Mm-hmm. But I give him the analogy where, okay, we take this amount of money and we put it in an investment, and I'll show him an illustration, like in 20, 30 years is what you'll have, son, versus me just going out and buying you shoes that's going to go out of style because you just posted them yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? You know how this generation, I already wore that. They told me on Instagram about it. So I show him the differences between, okay, what we can do with money versus just spending it. And then I also try to give him chores. Like, you still doing chores. I'm not hiring a cleaning lady. We can do it. But no, life is good, but you're going to still get up early in the morning. Take the trash out, do the dishes, clean the floors, make sure I give him some type of system to live by so that there's, number one, structure, because I didn't grow up with structure. So I give him some structure. I try to, instead of if I do give him something, I make him work for it. So before I go and buy you, he wanted these Balenciagas for Christmas. It was Christmas. I don't go and spend a lot of money on shoes like that. But he went and he requested Balenciagas. I'm mad at myself that I bought them. But he's a really good kid. Straight A's, B's, honor roll student. Don't give me no issues. But I said, okay, you need to be making all A's this semester. Like, just some kind of criteria.
Reward for being
before
good,
I give it to you, right? It's not just, oh, I got it. Okay, come on, baby, let's go. No, we're not doing that. Yeah, he knows better.
Okay. No, I completely understand. Literally last night, I just bought one of my step nephews PS5 because he hit the honor roll, and so it was like, damn, I remember when games cost like $30, like little $80 2K. I'm like, $80 for 2K. It's the same thing every year.
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing? Why is the price going up?
Right. I also try to make sure I'm mindful of not always giving him a reward for everything, because sometimes life ain't gonna give you a trophy for every time you do something 100%. Good, right? So I'd be like,
does he work?
He works. He works. He works.
So he has his own
job. He got a little side hustle.
Okay.
Oh, he loves money. He loves making money.
Okay.
He loves making money. So all my clients be like, Jazz, you raised a little you. Like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. He's good. Because he's very organized and intentional with his money.
Okay.
Like, way more than I was. So, like, and he's good with numbers. He like really math too? He loves math. Listen, he's taking college courses. He's done with math in high school right now. He's a senior. And so, like, when he gets paid, he'll Zelle me or Cash App me the money that I'm supposed to put in his little investment account. Here, Mom.
Okay.
Like, automatically. No ask, no questions.
Wow.
He got a little box. He got his little stat. He's really good with money.
Okay. And it's just you and him?
It's me and him.
Okay. And so now I'm going to ask the other side of that question. Do you feel like, well, I'll ask the question first. Is his dad present?
His dad's present. Okay. His dad is there for him. Is this going to be on air? I hope he won't be mad at me if that's it. His dad's there for him. He's there.
Okay, fair. And so with his dad being there, but not in the capacity of like at home every day like you, yes.
Yeah, no.
know.
I'm not with his dad. But he goes, at one point we were sharing, had timeshare. So like he would go every weekend and I would have him throughout Monday through Fridays. As he's gotten older, he's more so with me a lot. Because there's just structure, there's the lifestyle, right? That has the capacity to carry him into adulthood, if that makes sense. What I'm saying.
Okay.
But if he needed to call his dad, he can call his dad. If he needed to go see him, he can go and see him. Yeah.
Okay.
So he does. He has structure. I'm engaged. I have a fiance that kind of gives him insight. Yeah, I give him insight. That there's that relationship. So he does have some kind of male that is giving him some type of, son, you need to do this, you need to do that, this is the path you should be taking, this is what you should not be doing, going into manhood. Because I'm a firm believer that I'm a woman's woman, but I'm more so a human's human. And what I'm gonna say is, like, I believe in strong women raising men, but there's a limit because we're not men. I feel like it takes a man to raise a man.
Okay.
And I just understand my limits as a woman. I'm gonna say that. So no discredit to the strong women, to the single mothers. I was a single mother for a long time. So there's no discredit there. but there does come a time where, like, I can't give him all the gems and the secrets to being a man. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Nope. That's
Personal
completely
opinion.
understandable. Completely understandable. So now, in the dynamic, and I just want to touch on this a little bit, but, you know, with you being so well-rounded around the idea of money, investing, growing for the future, you know, you're teaching your son these kind of principles and everything, you know, you meeting a guy that's now your fiance, how does he captivate you?
My son?
Fiance.
What do you mean? So when we first met, we met at the therapist's office. I was going through my little depression bout, right? And I'm like, man, fuck these niggas. Like, I can't stand men. But we met, and he had his son. I love children, even though I didn't want any. I like children. Like, I like the innocence around being around a child, right? So I just think they're just so precious until life happens, right? Until like some idiot comes around and messes it up, right? But his son came around with this big ass smile, and I'm like, oh, he's so cute, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, forget you, hi little one, you know, type of thing. So we're going into the therapist we're going to see at the time, I'm seeing the woman, he's seeing the man, they're partners. And so we're in the waiting room waiting to see them, and I'm like in my phone like this. He walks in, I'm like, I hope you don't say nothing, please don't say nothing to me, because I'm not messing with men at this point, like, so I'm like, don't say nothing. So but I saw his son, I'm like, I smiled. So anyways, my therapist calls me. She calls me into my session. We do our session. I'm like, I hope he don't come out the same time I come out. And I came out, and he came out the same time I came out. And he is walking out the same time, and he's like, he's a talker. We're totally opposites, super extroverted. And so I'm just still giving him, hey, yeah, short answers, no real conversation. And his son just like, it's just, I don't know, I'm just gravitated towards this little boy. And we walk outside. He walks me to my car, and he starts to ask me. I started to open up. I started being nicer. And he's like, what do you do? I'm a financial advisor. I gave him my business card, but I gave him the business card with the wrong number. I gave it my personal freaking cell phone number. And I'm like, shoot. So he calls me. I didn't answer, of course. Then my sister, who's the attorney, I'm like, hey, I met somebody at a therapist's office. She's like, well, you've been single for a long time. You give him a try. You never know. I answer it finally. I respond to the text, and 3 hours later we're on the phone, and 3 hours later we never stopped speaking. So that was cool, but I was captivated because we were able to have a conversation. I'm not money hungry. At the time I didn't have a standard per se as far as like what you had to make. I'm not captivated by a status per se. Or you coming to me saying, oh, I got this, and that. That's a turn off for me. Doesn't work for me. I want to know, what's your thought process? Can we have a conversation? Can we be intellectually compatible?
Tevin Kimball.
Right.
Can we talk? Can we talk? Is it?
Yes. So the fact that we were able to have such long conversations is what captivated me.
Okay. And
it just helped that he had status, like,
fair.
he had stuff.
And so how long ago was that?
That was in 2018.
Okay, so 2018, fast forward, you get engaged. Now, you having this dynamic of marriage, being able to accept the dynamic of marriage, because I'm sure that's not the easiest conversation for you, but,
right.
You know, does that change on... Because you obviously have a love for this individual. Would you want kids with him?
At one point I did. Marriage, we're not married yet. Marriage scares me, which we're in therapy for. Because I feel like once I get married, I understand stuff happens, shit happens, right?
You might lose yourself.
That, and then that, and just... life happens, and we've had a lot of stuff.
Understandable.
I know I hold back, but we've had a lot of stuff, and so just taking my time on the thing, because this is your forever person, right? And I don't want to mess it up. I know I can't. I know nothing's perfect. Nothing can ever be perfect. We're all imperfect individuals striving towards improvement and evolution. But I just feel like, I don't want to go through it one time and another time divorce. I want to be sure that I'm sure that I'm sure that I'm sure. That's just where I'm at.
Understandable.
So, considering my past, and you could tell me something and then it turns out to be a lie, even if it's small, it breaks the trust for me. And it makes it hard for me to get back there.
And being able to have conversations with women about these kind of topics, because as a male, obviously I view it different, but I'm very open-minded to somebody else's perspective, and I love communication. And Lisa's podcast, I was completely shocked. Me and Dan were both shocked when she said what she said, because
what did she say?
She said
which
part, but
I love Lisa.
The marriage
That's
part.
My girl.
And so she got with a guy that, she was already successful in her own career, doing her own thing, 30 plus, almost 40 at this point. And he was a guy of real notability on the island, Puerto Rico, all that kind of stuff. And, he was telling her, like, build a life with him, like quit her job and, he'll do whatever, blah, blah. And she did. And literally not even a year into that marriage, he cheated on her. He dogged her out. He, took the house from her, took the car from her, like everything. And then she ended up back in Orlando with 3 kids now, by herself, divorced, and had to start over life again. And this is at 35 plus, and so it was like, I didn't think the story was going to go that way, because she was like, oh yeah, he used to bring me roses every single day. Like, he was prominent on it. He had this, he had that.
What happened?
But then it turned into a nightmare.
But what happens though? Like, why does it, okay. Now, as women, I saw a reel that said women, when they first meet somebody, oh yeah, he said he hit a girl a couple of times ago. Oh no, he's just protective. Like, it was comical, but it was like realistic. So as a woman, I can say that I've legitimately ignored red flags, out of being in a honeymoon phase, and it's like, dang, I really like him. I'm gonna let this slide. And then it's like, the deeper we go, the longer we go, the more comfortable we get, then the real self presents itself.
100%.
Right? And it's like, damn, that shit hurt my feelings. Or, dang, he put me through this and this and that. Oh, he did me this and that. And it's like, then you do a self-check. You knew this about this person.
And you chose
and
to
you
ignore
saw it.
Yeah.
But you said, I like him. Oh, it's something about this. Oh, he got it. You let it, you compromise it for the good stuff. And so I can legitimately say, like, I don't know. So my question to you is, what happens when y'all meet us and y'all be like, oh, it's all roses, it's all pretty and honeymoon. Oh my gosh, I really love him, until like something just switches.
You know what I'll say?
Okay. We being totally transparent.
We are getting totally transparent. What I will say to that is, most men, and I used to also be very, like this, is we'll feel some type of way about things and we don't communicate it. And in that lack of communication, the chemistry between us changes. Because now, as a man, when we have a certain conversation, just genetically based, most men are more logical. Most women are more emotional.
Facts.
Naturally. And when you try to combine logic and emotion together, they don't really mix that well, because you have the brain saying one thing and you have the heart saying something else. And, the responses from a woman, versus the responses from a man, they're coming from 2 different sensory, and so the neuroplasticity based around that, the learning, the curvature, the understanding levels breed separation. not because we want separation, but because we don't know how to communicate the differences between each other. And so we could be almost saying the same thing and saying something completely different at the same time.
Yeah.
And I feel like for men, you know, especially a lot of the guys that I've talked to, that I've dealt with, and myself, you know, dealing with this in past relationships and stuff, we hold certain things back because we don't want a reaction. Or we hold certain things back because we don't want a judgment. You know, like often a lot of times vulnerability for men is non-existent. You know, the moment we become vulnerable to a certain capacity, or the moment we say certain things to a certain level, you know, we, even if they don't mean to, almost get seen less than, because of the provision of, and this is again a social media battle. This is not all women, it's not all men, but you're the provider. You're this. You're the strong figure. You're supposed to have this category. You're supposed to understand this. You're supposed to build this. You're supposed to fill in the blank. And we throw these things back and forth to each other because we're trying to tap history. And there's always a version of, when does history become our story? Right? You know, we're basing things off of 19 whatever. But this is now 2000 whatever.
Right.
And the same way they have eras like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and culture changes along these eras, we have a culture change in 2026, you know?
Right.
And so we're trying to, especially as millennials or the older version of ourselves, Gen X's, whatever, we're trying to hang on to that, but literally, genetically, mentally, we're not wired that way anymore.
Yeah.
And there becomes a disconnect now where, again, communication. We don't know how to communicate, and that now breeds separation. And because of that separation, there's still love, but it's not what it once was.
And which makes space for anything else to
everything else to slide in. And something that might start super innocent or not even like intentional becomes that.
Exactly. Got it.
So it's just like, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I understand.
So that's my male perspective on it.
Okay. I respect it. I respect that.
Now, from a woman's perspective, what do you think breeds the most separation between men and women?
I feel like, and this is just my own world, I can't speak for every other woman, but I think that just my own personal experience, communicating how I feel, and my feelings being not justified because it's not logical, right? And so when I'm not able to express myself emotionally,
you don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe. And then when I don't feel safe, I shut down, and then there's the blockage, and we're communicating, but we're not understanding each other. And even within my own relationship, we've had like spaces where he feels like, oh, you're too emotional, oh, you take everything too serious. Oh, I feel like naturally women, we have an intuition. I think it's real, right? Now that intuition could be compromised from traumas, from certain things, so then like certain things could be off, and we come off being seemingly crazy because we're going off of feeling, maybe from natural intuition, or maybe from the intuition that's been compromised through through trauma. So I think it's just not being understood, or our emotions not being understood, or not necessarily placated to, because you'll be running around with your head cut off if you placated to our emotions all the time.
Yeah.
Because women go through natural cycles every freaking week, right? So I think acknowledging goes a long way, even if you don't agree, but acknowledging how I'm feeling, I feel safe, and I can open up, and it will make room for me to adjust, to make sure that I'm checking myself before I just go off at you with whatever emotion I might be feeling, right? Like, okay, Jazz, he always understands you. He's always hearing you out. Check yourself first and make sure you're not tripping on something that is not there, or make sure, it's just, it would allow space for me to properly come at him. If he acknowledges how I'm feeling, then I can feel safe enough to check myself. Yeah, to check myself. Then I can come at him better. And try to meet him at his logical level.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay, no. That was a little segment that we just
It
went
was.
through,
You're gonna
you
have
know.
that's
That's just
crazy.
a little segment.
But yeah, I think it's just I try to be more quiet. I try to silence the storm within myself because there's so many again, we're naturally emotional, but there's a lot of storm that happens within a woman. So I try to silence my storm, understanding that men are more logical. So if I silence my storm, it allows me to hear you out before I act or react.
How do you feel about like burnout?
Within a relationship?
Both, but mostly yourself.
Relationships take a lot of work. And I'm naturally a driven person. I'm naturally ambitious. I know when I'm neglecting my partner. I know what he needs. And I try to, I don't know, man. So because I'm so busy, because I'm so driven, I put my career first, then my son. And it's bad to say that I put him last. But that's where I've been lately.
Yeah.
And I've acknowledged that. And because I'm so driven, I get burned out a lot from just doing so much. When I get home, I ain't got nothing left to give him.
When's the last time you had 24 hours for yourself? Not no cell phone, no son, no partner.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I was literally just sitting here this morning. Not here, but this morning. I'm like, dang, Jazz, you really could use a day to just go get a massage, go to the beach, and do literally nothing. Disconnect. But we don't do that because there's a system within my household, like where, okay, get up, gym, go into clients, call clients, do my little mundane work, make sure my son is off to school. My fiancé will check in with me, and you get home, dinner's cooked. So there's like a system going, because and maybe I'm selfish. Success does demand a little level of selfishness. I kind of just, I'm thinking this is bad. I'm thinking about what's happening right now as I'm walking through my days. So on the weekends, it's like he'll probably expect me to be around, and I'm not around because I'm going. What was your question again? I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
24 hours?
24 hours. Yeah, no. So I haven't. It's been a minute. And
so me being a, self-appointed, whatever, people know me for structure, if they do that or whatever, but systems and structure, the presentation that I like to give on that is, what if a system could be built differently?
It could.
And so, because it brings up the point of like, even hearing how you operate your system on your days, your weekends, all that kind of stuff, ultimately, what are we working for? Right. What are we working towards? Right. What are we doing? And the kind of system that you just named comes with a time schedule. Is what it sounds like. It's time driven. I got to wake up early in the morning. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to, that's lab rat shit. We've been trained to do that from the system that we've been born into, right?
Right.
We go to school, K through 12, college, all of that kind of stuff. We don't go to the same school, but if you're not homeschooled, you have this criteria. You write your name on the top of the paper. You write the date. You write your class. You might even write the teacher's name. We didn't go to school at the same time, but how do I know that? Because I did it too, right? Everybody did it. This was the system that the world gave to us. Whoever's behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. And then life changed a little bit going into college because they stopped giving us such a direct system.
Right.
But they gave us, other parts of their system, which was you still got to do taxes. You still got to have credit score. You still got to do this and that. And it forces you to do certain things.
Yeah.
And because of what we know naturally as humans, and again, there's books on this. There is Power versus Force by Dr. Hawkins, and that one's more. That's a hard read. It's
hard read because.
But it's textbook oriented.
Power versus.
Mm-hmm. It's a white and black book, and it talks about these kind of systems that we build in our minds to orchestrate our lives to time constraints. Because time is the one thing that, one, we don't get back, but two, time is the one thing that we can't stop either. And so how do you navigate the world of something that you don't get back, but you also can't stop and will continue even after you're gone?
Right.
Like a lot of people say life is short, but for us, life is the longest thing we'll ever do.
Right.
Literally, like, even if people, go before their time or whatever, life is still the longest thing they ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to system orchestrated things, I tell people all the time, being able to make a change, an extreme change, when you don't want to is the key to making the best system that you've never been able to make. Because when we think about human change or what really drives people to be different or a different version of themselves, it comes with an extremity. Somebody has to go through a divorce. Somebody has to go through pain. For somebody to stop drinking, they get a DUI or they deal with this, or it's always attached to a negative.
Right.
But Power versus Force and a couple other books talks about, what if we start to trigger this extreme change ourselves without the factor of something happening, what then happens to our life. And this also goes into my brand, which is attractive mindset, the law of vibration, the law of frequency, being able to attract certain things towards you, because then you also have the principle of, I don't know why the name just slipped me, but it was like, if something bad can happen, it will.
I forget the name.
I forget who said that, but that's also a real thing. And we have to understand the energy that's just out there. Whether you believe in like energy or orchestrated stuff doesn't mean it's not there.
Facts.
Scientifically, things happen. The earth moves. The water does stuff. Sea level rises.
Whether you believe it or not.
You know what I mean? Whether you believe it or not, these things are really happening around us. And you have real life doctors like Dr. I forgot his name as well, but he was on Diary of a CEO talking about it with him. He's like, look, I've been a doctor for 30, 40 years, licensed scientifically, all of that stuff. And he's like, because I'm more on the science side of things, it's hard for me to have spiritual belief. He said, until certain things started to happen where certain people's energy, certain people's thought process on things created the impossible. He says, again, I've been through all the schools. I've done all the top surgeries and stuff. And he said, I've literally watched people grow a liver back, which should be impossible. I've literally watched people realign their spine without surgery. I've watched people walk that shouldn't be walking.
Yeah.
He's like, and so when you see these things as a hardcore scientist, it's impossible for me to not say there's something, higher at play.
Right.
And, again, this goes into the law of attraction, law of frequency, all that kind of stuff. What we attract to us or what we constantly do becomes a memento of how we carry life. And so for me, I don't wake up with an alarm clock.
You wake up when your body tells you to get up?
I wake up when my body tells me to wake up. I go to sleep at whatever time. I refuse to give myself a schedule. The only things that are scheduled is like if we have an interview at a certain time or if we have to do something or if it's an event, whatever. But as a day-to-day life, I don't go to the next day and know automatically at 6 a.m. I'm doing this, at 3 p.m. I'm doing this, at 5 p.m. I'm doing this, because that creates a schedule that's not aligned with our law of attraction.
Understood. And
so once I started living life that way, and Dan can even attest to this, literally every single year, and I wouldn't even be doing stuff for it necessarily, but I'm just saying it, because even before I got this building, we were in a small office, 243 square foot, maybe 2 blocks down there. And while I was in there, I just randomly said it. I was like, yeah, we're going to get a building. And Dan was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you saying to me right now? And I was like, yeah, That's just what we're going to do. No plans on it. No looking for real estate. No nothing. And from the beginning of that year to the 2024 July, it happened. You know, and with it happening, of course, it came with its own challenges and whatnot. But we got the building, right?
Wow.
And from us getting that, you know, a year later, with no ads, attracting, you know, Spotify, Google, TMZ, NFL, NBA people, all type of stuff.
Started coming out.
You know, all of that kind of stuff from just essence. And so being able to put essence and structure and system, of course, there's an organized way to do this. I'm not just telling you law of attraction is going to work for you, whatever. So don't take that from me. Yeah, you got to do a little more than that.
Tell me I can just wake up and it's going to align.
I'm not saying that to you. Like, all you got to do is believe. No, this is not Naruto, bro. Like,
that's hilarious.
Calm down. But, you know, that's the base of it. That's the foundation of it. And even, you know, when we had the masterclass, what I was telling you guys, like, foundation comes from belief, you know, belief and knowledge. And a version of your own belief and knowledge really gets you to that level of, I can create my own system. And that's what a system really is.
Yeah.
If we really think about people that created the first planes, like, bro, no one's flying. How do you create something that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
How do you create a car? We went from horses to carriages to cars. How do you create something that doesn't exist? You have to cause extreme change in yourself first. And that comes from mindset orchestrated things. And this is where you tap the Carl Jungs, Dr. Hawkins, Elizabeth Loftus, Daniel Simons, Christopher Chaberses, and all of that kind of stuff, because those are the books I read. I don't really read self-help books or whatever, but I do read the psychology, business-oriented kind of, you know, life-oriented kind of stuff. And their perspective, which isn't really perspective because they run tests on these. They've been doing these for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
And tracking the progress of how the mind has evolved to create certain things that don't exist.
Yeah.
And if you use those same principles, you can literally do the same thing. And now I'm getting ready to, you know, build a skating rink in Colombia.
I love that.
And people are telling me like, bro, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't even know, man.
But I know it's
there.
It's there.
You know, I know we have this. And as I start to see certain things align for it, like, you know, meeting a girl out there who knows 5 languages and has the ability to be my CEO and this and that, I'm just like, how does this happen? You know, but again, being able to set the foundation for it. And so I even said all of that to just say, live your life. I know how you want to live it, but, you know, and this goes to everybody. I'm not just, you know, saying this to you. It's just, it's okay to do nothing. Because I see everything that you say that you're doing and, you know, striving for, and the weekends. And again, even with this coaching culture, a lot of people that I meet, because, you know, some of my mentees are like Haitian CEO and runway billionaire, and even talks with him 500 and all of them. And like, they're so used to being on go. And I'm like, slow down.
Stop your nervous system, right?
Slow down. Because on the entrepreneurship side, we don't take into accountability of, you know, the average retirement age on the 9-to-5 side is 67 now. It went up a couple years. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're not even 50 yet. You're not even 40 yet. Mm-hmm. You're trying to hyper, you know, go crazy with your stuff as if you don't have time. And that's what's causing you to actually lose time.
Do you think the social media has a lot of influence to do with it?
100%. Which is why I'm not prevalent on social media that much, because social media likes to dictate the speed of other people's actions to your actions or where you should be. And I'm like, yes, it's a tool that's to be leveraged. Don't get me wrong. I still use social media to our advantage, but I don't let it dictate my schedule, my life schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You said a lot. You said a whole lot. Because even sometimes, even myself, I'm looking at like, oh, I got to put this out. And so it creates an anxiety on the inside. And then therefore you feel like, okay, I gotta keep pushing this. I gotta keep doing that. Because at one point I was like, no, I'm just posting once a week and we good. My wealth concept Wednesdays, that's it. And they're like, no, you need to be posting blah, 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 blah. But I find myself, okay, well, just plan a content day, Sunday, record 15 videos, then schedule all your content. True. The crazy thing is Monday through Friday, I'm already on go. Yeah. Then Saturday, I might be doing a podcast like I'm here now, or go see a client or two, get the gym, of course, in. Then my fiance wants time, and it's like, okay, where do I find the time?
Where do I fit in for me?
Where do I fit in to rejuvenate myself or recharge, per se?
And that comes with extreme change. Remember, because if you were to get, God forbid, pneumonia, guess who's stopping?
Me.
You. Yeah. But you didn't stop at your choice. You stopped because something else made you stop. If you were to hurt yourself in the gym or whatever, guess who's stopping? You're not walking around if you hurt your leg or whatever. Life will force you to stop. And so why do we wait for life to stop us when we have the mental ability to stop ourselves? And once we gain true control of stopping ourselves, because there'll be periods sometimes where I literally go through like a week of doing nothing. I won't schedule a podcast.
You feel
I won't
good
talk to anybody. I won't do shit. I'll just literally just be there. I'll exist. And then, it'll be one of those things like, you okay, man? And I'll be like, yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going through my mind yet. And then on day number 8, I spark back into it and everything just comes flooding naturally. And it's not something that I'm pushing towards or trying to break through, because I'm giving myself time to just underwhelm myself, because I do overwhelm myself. Just like you said, success does take selfishness. And when I'm in go mode, I'm in go mode. I'm doing everything. I'm knocking things out. I'm going places. I'm meeting people. I'm spending money. But when I'm not in go mode, I'm fully present. I'm catching up on every TV show possible. I'm watching every movie. I'm going outside and just touching grass. You know what I'm saying? Like, we doing all of that because it's the balance.
That was funny.
It's the balance.
Right.
And so
I got you.
We do have to be able to create this balance for ourselves. Okay. But yeah, that's just my take on that.
Love that. I have nothing else to say after that.
That's just my take on that. So
I have nothing else to say.
Now I want to segue it back into, career.
Yeah.
Right. And so with you getting older in this field, understanding it more, doing more things for yourself, what does the next level of being a financial advisor look like? Like, was that your role at first? And how did you really develop into that role? What is a financial advisor?
A financial advisor is somebody that sits there and analyze your full picture, right? Your net worth, any liabilities, your cash flow, and just kind of give you direction on where you should be placing assets, how you should be protecting it, per se, based on the goals and the values that you have. A lot of times people think, okay, I want to be wealthy, I want to be rich, and they put $1 to it before considering what do I like to do. Yeah. Because wealth for you might say, I want to be a billionaire. Wealth for the next person might say, I just want a couple of M's in the bank.
100%.
Just give me $250,000 a year. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody. So that's why I always have this conversation. Like, okay, what do you value? What's your goals? And as an advisor, I go in there and based on the values and the goals, I tell them, okay, your life, the way you're living, the way your finances are not reflecting your goals and your values. So we do like a check. I do a check. I don't know how other financial advisors do it. But I will sit there, have that conversation with them, analyze the picture, and then say, hey, this is a game plan based on what you told me, based on what you're doing. We realign. We make recommendations with investments, insurance, things like that. The next goal for me is to be a CFP. Okay. That's the highest level of certification you can get as an advisor.
So what's a CFP?
It's the Certified Financial Planner. So you go through us. So I have literally already the experience, background, information. I've seen a lot of people to understand, what a person should be doing. But for the state or the board per se, or whatever regulator, they want you to be certified to say, and literally you just get a certification. Okay. Literally. Costs more money, but I think being a Black female double minority is something that I should definitely have. Or anybody that's coming up in the double minority space should have that. It just says you're at the top of the competency level.
Okay.
When it comes to being an advisor.
Okay. And so how long does it take to get something like that?
I think it's like a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just go apply for the program?
No, you got to have at least 3 to 5 years of experience, I think.
Okay.
And some other, I think a bachelor's degree and something else or whatever. So I'm literally looking at schools now to see which one I want to go through. I think I'm going to do a remote program, but literally you go through every aspect of financial areas, right? So tax planning, business succession planning, retirement planning, cash, every single thing that affects a client's financial picture. You are going through a rigorous program through the courses, and then you sit for a test for about, I think, 4 to 6 hours. And you pass, you get the certification. You don't, you take it again.
So now I want to play some adversity.
I know, yeah. I think I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Where am I going?
Oh, so why would I hire a financial advisor over a CFP? Are you going there? Or are you?
No.
Okay. My bad.
So I was going to go against, the actual culture of what we have. So in the day and age of coaches and mentors, how do you view that as a financial advisor? Because you got a lot of people on the internet telling people what they should do with their money or how they should do it to become the next Warren Buffett or whatever.
So, marketing is everything, right? So people market to, drive traffic to whatever business they may be selling, services, whatever. I'm not against coaching. I do feel like there should be some stipulations and standards that social media puts in place to put the right individuals in front of us. Because yes, there are some wrong things that some people put out there, and you have a lot of people put out there, and you have followers in real life, everyday 9-to-5ers, consumers that are following this advice. And come to me like, okay, for instance, I had a client come up to me and say, hey, Jazz, I want to do the infinite banking program, but I only want to put $200 a month in there. They're not telling you that you need to have significant amount of money to really make a funding your own bank life insurance policy work. You can't just put $100 a month in there and think you're going to have $1 million to take out 5 years later.
Facts.
It's not happening.
At all.
So you have people saying that. So it's frustrating to me as an advisor that's been in the business 15 years and know exactly how it works. That people are really out here misguiding people.
Man, it's bad. We had a guy come on season 2, and he was like, we'll get it wiped off their credit, something. And then I'm like, and he was like, we'll do it in like 7 days. And I was like, oh, that's pretty quick. I was like, but that sounds a little too quick. I said, what if it comes back? And he was like, man, we don't care if it come back because we're going to run it up before it comes back. And so that when it come back, it don't even matter. And I'm like, so you're not getting rid of it. You're just removing it temporarily somehow. I was like, that sounds a little illegal. Case in point, dude went to jail like a year later. Went to prison like a year later.
See, but that's what social media does. It makes you want to get on there, talk about some stuff, make a quick, couple 100,000, 200, whatever amount of money they making. You make some reels.
I feel like, and this can be a headline. Credit is the new scam. A lot of people not gonna like to hear that, but credit is the new scam. And I say that because a lot of people nowadays are rich off credit. And I don't even consider that a real business, if I'm being 100% honest. And, I've had these back and forths with people because a lot of people have made a lot of money from it. They got the cars, the houses, I get it. But if I were to, not if I were to, because I don't even have to. These are real institutions, real banks. If they were to shut down today, stop tomorrow, or change the policy on credit and wipe all you niggas from getting credit, like, would you have a business?
Right.
Would you really have a system to build your business on? And that's why, even with the credit people that do come on here, I ask them, God forbid you were to die today, what would happen? What would happen to your family? What would happen to your business? Because your credit's attached to you.
Right.
Like, they don't have an 800.
They don't, right.
They don't have your limits.
Right.
They don't have your stuff. All of that goes away. And then, even when you pass away, people don't understand that there's also stipulations that happen with your credit and debt and stuff that you owe. And if you have a trust and whatever, it pierces that. And so there's a whole lesson around that. And so it's just like, I think credit is a scam. I would just put that out there. How do you feel about credit? How do you feel about credit? How do you feel about wealthy people from credit?
I don't see that as an issue per se. A lot of wealthy people that I know personally use credit to leverage, their wealth, to leverage their assets. So I'm not against it. You just have to be connected with the right professionals to advise you the right way.
Yeah, leverage 100%. But the ones who like become, yo, I'm your funder's favorite funder. Yo, I'm the credit repair person of the decade.
I don't believe in the credit repair in 2 months or 1 month. Oh, you can get your credit score to rise 100 points in 20 days. I automatically think that's a scam. Only because I'm seeing, like, I've been a bad credit person, right? Where like, dang, I'm paying all my bills on time. I'm doing this and that. And why I'm doing everything right based on what I know somebody has told me. And it's taken a while for it to get okay, right? So there's no way you can tell me that you're going to I'm going to pay you what, $130 a month, and you tell me my score is going to rise 100 points to 30. What are you doing specifically?
Facts.
What are you doing?
What's going on there?
What is going on?
What are we talking
about? Because the letters I get back, or I used to get back, it was like, okay, they want me to do this and that. And I'm like, how are you doing it differently? And even if you do fix it quick, it's going to return back. It's going to, and I've seen it happen through other clients. So I'm on the same page as you with the, I'm your favorite funder's funder.
I just feel like it's a farce, and just even credit in general, like, and it's a little trauma driven. I'm not going to lie.
Credit.
Yeah. Because my credit didn't unlock till what? Last year? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had bad credit till last year. And that was because I'm not going to fully go into it, but
don't go into it.
They won.
Yeah.
They did win last year, ironically. But I did something 7-8 years ago and got labeled for stealing money from the government, whatever. It wasn't a scam. It was me being a military veteran, combat veteran, fucked up. They gave me money and I didn't spend it on what they wanted me to spend it on.
Yeah.
And so they counted it as me stealing from the government, right? And so I'd never paid them back. They spun the block last year from 7 years ago.
Sheesh.
Lawsuit, right? I lost. I'm paying them bread. They got me on a payment plan because ain't nobody got that type to give them up front. Ain't nobody dealing with that, right? But whatever. You live and you learn.
Right.
But, what it forced me to do throughout business is understand cash flow. And I feel like a lot of business owners don't understand that. Like, I don't have a 100% projection of what's going to come in every month, but from certain actions that have been consistent, I can create a cash flow through staff, through, system, structure, whatever, that I don't need to show up for. And so I like how you said, for some people, they might want to be a billionaire. For some people, they just might want to do $250,000 a year, whatever. When it comes into retrospect of what I make versus what other people make, I don't look at it that way.
Right.
I look at, they make money, I create money. And in the creation of money for me, I create money in 15% of my time. And so that's why 80% of the time they see me outside or playing fucking tennis on Tuesday or, doing whatever, and it becomes a sort of residual.
Yeah.
And yes, if I were to do physically more, I would make more, but I don't want to do that.
That's not your value.
Exactly. That's not where I find life. For me, it's the time, the time to do the things that I actually want to do. Because if I don't have the time to do them at the age that I want to do it at, then what am I actually making so much money for?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a materialistic person anymore. Because there was a time where we had like 5 or 6 exotics.
Oh God!
And I lost money.
Oh God!
We had a Rolex, gave it to my little brother. All that kind of stuff. But, I learned.
Yeah.
And as I learned, I understood that time is the biggest asset to me.
It is.
And I like video games. I like TV. I like sitting there and just having 24 hours with myself, but instead my 24 hours might be like 72 hours or more, where I don't even talk to somebody, but
But I agree with you. It's time, relationships, and like what makes you feel alive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we can't put a timestamp on stuff like that. And so when it comes to credit, I feel like credit is what keeps you part of the world's system naturally, because you have two factors. One, it's not your money. You got to pay it back no matter what.
Facts.
And then two, you're paying more than you even got.
Right.
And so interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, when it comes to the perfect example is like a Drake, right? So you have somebody like Drake or even a celebrity or whatever. It doesn't even have to be Drake, but they make a lot of money from their skill or their profession. Credit people come to them with stuff like black cards, and
right.
they don't have a limit because they are already worth this. They know, hey, this person is going to be able to give me this money in this type of way, whether I take their assets or their cash, whatever.
Yeah.
And they have that. And so it's like, okay, cool. We're bypassing, 35% interest rates or whatever. They don't deal with those same issues. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I view that as cash flow. Yeah. They might be an artist, they might be a actress, actor, celebrity, get paid off of residual type things. But in them doing that, it's a form of cash flow that they've created in their business structure to be like, hey, I'm going to use this as leverage to pay whoever, XYZ. Now, do they pay things with credit cards? And this is the part that I do like, because they give you points and sky miles and all of that shit. Yes, I understand that and I leverage it myself. But at the overall standard of it, if credit were to disappear, would you still have that same $25,000 you say you got? Would you still have that same $250,000 you say you got?
Yeah.
Would you still be able to do the cars and the clothes and the jewelry and the Bibelow's rooms, whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the part that bothers me, because like 80% of the people in our industry can't, and they don't. And it's almost like pump faking, because it's like, can you do it? I've had people, credit people that just finished telling me, oh yeah, I sold this package, made this bag, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they want to hire one of my videographers or something. Yeah, $600. Yeah, Dan got stressed, yeah, because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, $600. Just sell it to me. Oh, you like liquid? You want me to send it to you cash? Oh, I don't have that. Zelle. You don't take credit card or whatever? Right. I was like, yeah, but you're gonna get taxed. I'm taxed.
Right. That's crazy.
I don't want to get taxed, And so it becomes that conversation of, you don't have that in your bank account. And that's my gripe with it. Gotcha. Not the fact that you don't have it in general, but it's just like, you're projecting something that isn't real. And that's where these people start to create this persona where they're like, oh yeah, I'm this person or I'm that person, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just went on a little rant. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You good. You good.
They get me. They get me. You know what I'm saying? So now, why I even said all of that is because with financial advising, what are some of the proper ways and channels for people to truly build their wealth outside of credit?
Yeah, no, I mean, so obviously you find a passion, you need to have a skill. That skill will be the main generator of the cash flow that you need to come in. So my masterclass, I talk about these 5 specific areas that build the wealth, or at least a foundation. So the first piece is cash management. So just mastering your cash flow, mastering your budgeting, and then making sure you have some savings, obviously, whether you're business or on the individual side. Then there's the second biggest piece, which is risk management. So risk management is 5 specific areas within that one piece. So there's inflation, right? The reason that's a risk, and the reason you need to mitigate is because you don't lose your purchasing power. So I know some people. Go ahead.
To not confuse people real quick on inflation, can you explain exactly what inflation is and how to beat it?
Oh, of course. Inflation is literally the cost of living, right? Last year, inflation ran at a rate, I feel it's higher, was 2.7%. So if your money is sitting in a bank account or in a savings, and it's yielding, let's say, 1% from the bank, that's what they're going to pay you. You are losing
money.
Power. You don't see it going down in value, like literally, but it's like a silent killer of your wealth. It pulls from you. Okay. So for instance, like if I go to the grocery store, like I spend maybe $300 every time I go to the grocery store.
Same.
But it's like, you come out with like 5 or 6 bags. What the hell did I buy?
Exactly. From what it used to be?
What it used to be.
Yeah.
$300 would have me like my whole car filled with like 30 bags. But now, because of inflation, things are going higher. It's like you're getting less for the same amount of the same dollar. That's inflation. So the way you beat that is just making sure that your money is in an interest-bearing account that's pacing inflation or that's going higher than inflation. Then there's taxes. Taxes eat away at your wealth. I mean, if you get a good accountant, you get a good financial advisor that team up to put a plan together for you to make sure like whatever growth, income, whatever strategies you have in place, they can help you legally map a way to not put so much in Uncle Sam's pocket.
So now, even with that, I feel like they've also changed the game on making write-offs the best case scenario, because now they're challenging things with tax returns or, you know, you can kind of counter that with stream of income, but then now it comes to, again, the conversation of, do you have the cash flow?
Right.
I get you have the credit for it, but you can't show credit as a stream of income
to
bypass certain things. And so people who are very, you know, 750 credit score heavy, whatever, I have on hand cash, but not liquid, you know, if they write a lot of stuff off in their business and they're not showing like a return, because, you know, you have to, and this is information, not giving you legal advice.
This is not advice, guys.
This is not advice. And so you have to be showing positive 3 years out of 5 because they'll consider you a hobby. Right? And so with doing that, you know, how are people, you know, like
legally
Trump doing $750 tax files?
I leave that to my accountant.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll just say that.
Fair
but
enough.
Taxes, it's a lot that goes into that. That's why I try not to touch it. But that is if you don't have the right accountant, you don't have the right professionals around you, the tax bills, Uncle Sam will be eating away at your wealth. Okay, so I work with a lot of professionals. So like I'm going to sit and analyze your whole picture, but I'm going to send you to my network, like my attorneys and my tax advisors are going to say, okay, Jasmine, this is the play. We work together on the plan. Market risk, if you're investing, obviously, you know, there's risk involved with that. So I try to encourage my clients not to have all their eggs in the same basket. It's cliche, but it's true and standing. Then there's disability and death. So are you a breadwinner?
Yeah.
Okay. Meaning in your household, right? You're the breadwinner. Okay. So if something happens to you, will anybody be affected?
Nope.
So he probably put things in place.
Yeah.
You put things in place. But a lot of individuals, they're breadwinners. They're making a lot of money. They're so focused on their craft that they haven't protected that income or put something in place to replace the income, right? So that's where your long-term, short-term disabilities come into place. For instance, like if I was a hairdresser, remember I wanted to be a hairdresser. And I'm out dancing. I like to dance. So I'm out dancing. I fall and break my arm. Guess what happens? It affects my income.
Yeah.
I can't do hair no more. So then the income goes down. Well, the way that I would mitigate against that is like, okay, I'll have a short-term or a long-term disability policy in place. Those type of policies, basically, if you hurt yourself or you're out of work, out of commission for anywhere from 3 to 6 months to a year, then it will go into play. It'll cut on for you and pay your income for whatever amount of time you needed to pay the income. So your bills continue to get paid. Your lifestyle continues to go on without being affected, right? And then there's death. That's a risk. It's the same thing because the income, instead of it being gone for a short term, is gone for the long term.
Yeah.
So the life insurance comes into play to replace the income for a certain amount of years or for forever or whatever wealth transfer goal you have in mind. Life insurance comes and then it takes care of that for them. So risk has a lot. Risk management is a big piece that I take my time normally with my clients to kind of break down what we need to put in place to make sure that they're okay.
You work with like trusts a lot?
I do work with trusts. I send my attorney, she drafts up the trust. But yes, we would place assets in trusts. If we don't want your net worth to be shown, we would find a workaround to make sure.
Yep, learn that 2025. Yep.
Yeah. So I outside of the risk management, the third piece is accumulation. That's the fun part where you're building literally assets that build cash or give you cash flow. That way you can have more of your time back. We talked about time. Again, I feel like if you have the time to yourself, you can do whatever you want to do. That's when the wealth really shows itself. So, getting with my business consultants, we would establish businesses, buy businesses, sell whatever we need to do to generate cash flow for my clients so that they can have more of their time back. Now, I do have some clients that they don't mind working in their nonprofit organization because that's what fulfills them. But that's because they want to, not because they have to. So we would find and put things in place to make sure we can give them an asset or a machine that's going to just print money while they sleep.
Got it. Yeah. So that makes me think about two questions and almost two different kind of categories where as a financial advisor, what do you think about, how do I want to word this? As a financial advisor, what do you want to, or how do you think about the U.S. debt calculator?
The U.S. debt calculator.
So there's a website with the U.S. debt calculator where on there, the United States as a whole owes like something $1 trillion. How is that even possible? Right. And then we're still operating at the level we're operating on.
I battle with that all the time. I'm like, the U.S. needs a financial advisor, a CFP, a tax, everything. Yeah. It's impossible to. Well, I mean, when you look at the average consumer and the everyday 9 to 5 individual, a lot of us are drowning in debt. It's just a bigger reflection on where we are on an individual level, on a smaller scale. How are we doing it?
It's the system that we're built on.
It's the system.
Dealing with, and I don't even want to go too deep on it, like the Rockefellers and stuff like that. If you really know money and know the creation of all this stuff, like the first form of currency came from us trading like seashells. Like the stock market used to be livestock. That's why it was called stock. And then it turned into money and all this other kind of stuff or whatever. But Rockefeller's first company was like 1876 or something like that. And we didn't get the first form of currency until like 1890 something. And so these people, don't come after me, have their shit set up way before this, so that's the true version of generational wealth that they're building. You have the JP Morgans and the Rockefellers and the Walmarts and the XYZ and all that kind of stuff that have cemented themselves into this system of society. And so, now you have somebody erratic as Trump in office to where he's introducing new terms to disturb this wealth, right? And so how do you feel about his policy that he's really trying to push where I think the date, I went like I had to watch. I think the date had passed already, but they were trying to say for January 20th, at least for 1 or 2 years, no credit card could charge you more interest than like 10% or something, or 20%.
Yeah. He's rewriting. He's undoing a lot of stuff that put us in that place in the first place. It's ugly. It's ugly. And
super
a lot of people are being affected. But I don't care whose side you're on, whatever. I don't get into that.
Facts.
Don't get into that. But I think what he's doing is, you know that saying where everything gets very, very ugly before it gets beautiful again? That's what he's doing, in my opinion. Yeah.
He's dismantling what was. I think he's approaching it as a businessman, and that's what he was before he became president, realistically. And are his methods the greatest? No,
they're not.
But being able to even cut programs like DEI, you have the emotional structure of that where, Black people took to social media, especially Black people, and they were like, you're trying to do this to hurt us. When if you look at whitehouse.gov or sam.gov, sba.gov, U.S. Census Bureau, all these actual websites with actual information, it's not even tied to that.
Not even.
And it just creates these two different narratives. Again, logic versus emotion and it creates this narrative that doesn't exist, and people get mad at,
I know.
left, right, up, down, diagonal, whatever. And, the tariffs that are going out, like all that kind of stuff is to ultimately bring it back here.
That's it.
And so, from your perspective on the shifting of wealth within the world, the boomers right now still are considered the most wealthy category out of everything that we have. As we're transitioning into more of a digital age where streamers are getting paid a lot more, YouTubers are getting paid a lot more, content creators, the era of TikTok and all that is upon us, how are businesses, or should businesses be formatted towards leveraging this wave?
Guys, Victor Demesman here from Demesman Dover Law Firm. Obviously, I hate, to say it, but if you ever need us, right, hopefully you don't, right? If you've been in an accident, slip and fall, medical malpractice, we're here to serve you guys. Been in the community for quite some time. You guys know who we are. You know what we do. You know how we move. The number is 866-954-MORE. That's 866-954-6673. You can find us on Instagram, youraccidentattorneys.com, on the website. We're very accessible. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on TikTok. We're everywhere. And like Rich said, can't miss us. Demesman Dover Law Firm. Victor Demesman. Love, peace, respect.
Oh yeah, no, I do think that we have a window, because the speed of AI, the speed of how things are going, is either you're gonna jump on board or you're gonna be left behind. I really feel like that's what's gonna happen. So I think businesses should be embracing this change, should be jumping on the bandwagon, hiring who they need to hire to make sure that they position themselves to be on the right train or to be on the right side. I'm old school. I'm an old school millennial. Before trying to get business on social media, I wouldn't have had an Instagram. That's all I really have. I got a LinkedIn because the professional said I needed to have one.
Yeah.
But looking at how, when you have an insight, so I have so many people that I know that are studying this AI thing. I have someone that's in tech, only Black guy, making crazy money, but he's jazz. He says, when I tell you, the world is literally making a huge shift, and if you're not on board, you're not adapting yourself, you're not applying yourself, if you're turning a blind eye, if you're saying everything's a scam, if you're saying you're scared of it, you will be a part of you're gonna be left in the poor. So because there's poor and then there's gonna be the rich.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna middle class ain't even existing no more. It's not existing.
Yeah.
So I think businesses should have an open mind. I think businesses should be a little bit more trusting. I mean, because in the .com, what was it, 2000, we thought the world was going to end.
Yeah.
But it really was just the introduction of, the internet or what have you.
And 2011.
2011. This is the same thing. The history repeats itself, right? So even though this doesn't look familiar, the concept of history repeating itself means, okay, hey, let me be a little open-minded. Let me apply myself. Let me hire the right individuals I need to make sure that I'm on the right side of the field.
So now, as like a closing question, and this is a little bit of a thought poker. Is it possible to be recession-proof in the United States alone? Like if you don't have money circulating outside of this country?
I don't think, because we're moving into a global economy. We're already pretty much almost there, right? So it is a risk. Keeping all your eggs in one basket, it is a risk to leave all of your assets to protect you from a recession in the U.S. Now, Colombia. I mean, you see Africa, Ghana's expanding. They're calling us home. I mean, it's just we're coming into that era where we're all one. It's not going to be a such thing as this continent, that continent. Yeah, we're going to be labeling ourselves, but I just feel like economically, we're going to be able to move in other areas, and the U.S. is not going to be the only winning player. So I think choose our cards, play our cards right.
Absolutely.
No matter what cards you have, you play them right, and you'll end up with a winning hand if you apply the right way.
I believe it. Well, Jasmine, thank you for coming on the show, sharing things about yourself, and telling us a little bit about what you do, how you do it. Bringing a perspective to financial advising and, what it is, how to understand it, and, certain principles that you rely on or, gravitate towards. And, you mentioned a masterclass. What is this masterclass exactly?
Absolutely. My masterclass is literally how to build wealth, the 5 specific ways or fundamentals you need to build lasting wealth, and to be able to transfer it to the generations and generations to come. So it's every Thursday, 8 p.m. It's myself hosting it for about an hour. It is free to attend. And I don't know if you want me to give a link or say anything else like that.
Yeah, you can put the link and, we'll include it.
Okay. Well, I'll provide a link in the caption. So just register, and I look forward to seeing you there.
There it is. And so if people wanted to learn more from you, possibly work with you, what kind of people are you working with right now?
So I work with Henry's, high earners, not rich yet. So bringing a lot of cash, but the wealth is not necessarily there, or the network that you desire is not necessarily there. And anybody who is serious about building wealth, I don't turn anyone away, because things change. You can win the lottery, you can inherit some wealth. So I don't turn people away specifically because life happens and it has a way of throwing a monkey wrench into things. So anyone who's serious about building wealth, I will have a conversation.
Absolutely. Okay. So if people wanted to find you, tap in, learn more,
you can find me. The only page that I have is an Instagram page on I am Jasmine C. Glover. And if you want to have a further conversation with me, there is a link in my bio where you can schedule a consultation. I'm happy to have a conversation.
And there you have it. Listen, if you enjoyed this, make sure you share not only part 1, but part 2 of Jazz's story. Make sure you tap into our masterclass every Thursday, 8 p.m. We're going to include a link in the bio. And so, again, this is your host, Moneybag Rich. And at the end of the day, we always say we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us, we talk back, and we out.
Peace.